we're now moving towards our last session here at the 13th edition of the HIAM conference, which is on energy and resource efficiency. We're talking about reduced operational cost. We're also talking about enhancing guest comfort along with reducing operational cost. Firstly, I'd like to invite our moderator, Mr. Kunal Chaudhari, CEO of Udayan Chaudhari Associates Private Limited. A second-generation consulting engineer, Mr. Kunal leads UCA, delivering prestigious MEP projects globally, and with over 15 years of expertise in data centers, hotels, and sustainable designs, he's a published author and a thought leader in the industry. Ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause for our moderator, Mr. Kunal Chaudhari, joining onto the stage. I'd also like to invite our panelists to kindly join us on the stage. Mr. Ankit, Director, Design and Technical Services of Sarovar Hotels and Resorts. Mr. Ankit brings over a decade of expertise in hotel designing, overseeing Sarovar's 80-plus project pipeline, and with a master's in energy management, he specializes in cost-effective, energy-efficient designs that enhances the brand identity. Very honored to have Mr. Ankit with us. I'd also like to invite Mr. Vardhan onto the stage, Senior Manager Engineering at IHG Hotels and Resorts. With 15 years in the hotel design and engineering, Mr. Harsh specializes in sustainability and energy efficiency. His background in MEP consulting and hotel operational enables him to integrate cost-conscious, high-performance solutions that align with the brand identity and operational efficiency as well. Thank you, Mr. Harsh, for joining us onto the stage as a panelist. Now inviting Mr. Manoj Bhansali to kindly join us onto the stage as well, Managing Director of Airtech Industries Private Limited, leading Nepal's premier MEP services company. Mr. Manoj Bhansali has over 27 years in HVAC and 10 years in MEP, managing a team of 250 plus. He ensures top quality execution of landmark projects, reinforcing the role of technical excellence in brand identity and design. And would also like to invite Mr. Praveen Agrawal to kindly join us onto the stage, General Manager, Engineering, Lemon Tree Hotels, an electrical engineer with 25 years in hospitality. Mr. Agrawal has shaped the engineering standards of top brands like Oberoi, Hyatt, Starwood, and IHG, and his focus on sustainable operations, energy conservation, and pre-opening project management makes him a key contributor to today's discussion as well. Ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause for Mr. Praveen Agrawal. And completing the panel, may I please invite Mr. Sunil Khemani to kindly join us back onto the stage after his fantastic presentation. Director of Aufait International Engineering Studio, with a portfolio of 200 plus projects across hotels, hospitals, retails, and commercial spaces. Mr. Khemani is indeed a powerhouse in design and technical innovation. His expertise in seamlessly integrating aesthetics and functionality is central to brand identity and design efficacy. Ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause for our fantastic panel, and requesting all our panelists to firstly step forward and pose for a very nice group photograph, which we would like to give you as a memory by the end of this panel discussion. Ladies and gentlemen, our stage is also all set for the very, very last panel, which is on energy and resource efficiency, reduced operational cost, enhancing guest comfort, and a lot around sustainability as well, which is very important, giving back to Mother Nature, Mother Earth, as how we started today's discussion and this morning with the recap of yesterday as well. Thank you very much. Thank you to all the gentlemen onto the stage. And now, without any further delay, I'd like to request our moderator, Mr. Kunal Chaudhari, to kindly take over.
Thank you. Good evening and a very happy Valentine's Day to everybody. As usual, we are doing this at the end of this HIAM conference. But, if we do a good job, I expect a red rose for my August panel here, huh? Each, right? Okay. So, the entire conference this year has revolved around the economics and hospitality design. And we all understand how important MEP and your OPEX plays. Your HLP costs, we heard on many panels, is going to be, your utility costs in a hotel is second highest after salaries. Is that correct? So, so there is a huge amount of money that's getting spent in running each hotel, and the MEP guys, we need to step up and ensure that we reduce that number, right? So I think comfort is synonymous with hospitality. So if you go to a hotel, I think we've all grown up, I mean, I have at least, if I got good grades in school, the first thing I'd do, what my dad would do, is take me to a hotel, and so it's synonymous with comfort, with luxury, but it comes at a price. Getting comfortable in a hotel does not only mean, good interiors, but it also means, how your services, how your utilities are functioning, and how that space, delivers the comfort that it's supposed to. So, to begin with, I would like to ask Mr. Khemani, what his thoughts are. Is comfort more important, or is operating cost more important?
Kunal, you're my favorite moderator, so you better be kind to me. Thank you. So, that's a very tricky one. Of course, guest experience is something which we can't really compromise on, and we always try and work around where we have the guest experience, plus, the operational cost is also kept within minimum, limits. Especially in select service hotels, we make sure that the guest experience is simple, what is expected from a select service, and the operational cost is maintained at bare minimum.
So you're saying for select service hotels, it's more OpEx driven then?
More operating cost driven, yeah. Sure.
All right. I'd like to ask the same question to Praveen ji also, from an operator's perspective. Do you think comfort is what you're striving for when you're delivering your, new projects or upgrading existing projects? Are you enhancing the user experience through comfort? Maybe better lighting, maybe better HVAC controls?
That is already in our system, guest comfort is the priority. And yesterday, Mr. Kacharu also mentioned that, are we checking all the rooms? If you have 150 rooms, are you checking everything? So my answer is no. I think no one checks every room, okay? So if we are talking about the enhancing the guest comfort, so we need to monitor very closely whether it is the TPM of the room or the maintenance of the equipment, okay? If you maintain everything, then definitely the operational cost will also come simultaneously, and the breakdown cost and other costs definitely will come down.
Sure. Harsh, your thoughts?
As Praveen sir rightly said, optimizing cost is an essential, but not at the cost of guest comfort. So, and again, maintaining guest comfort is quite easy. He needs a clean bed, he needs a proper pressure in the shower, in the faucets, proper lighting, and frankly, it doesn't require any cost that is involved into it, whether it's a luxury, whether it's select service or anything. It can be easily achieved, and these are the basic necessities. If those are met, I think guests are comfortable, and again, as a hotelier, when we service to the guest, that's an add-on to the comfort which we are giving through our services.
Ankit, what are your thoughts? Comfort or operating cost?
So actually, it's a balance between the capex and the opex. Obviously, the comfort comes, but we'll have to keep in mind where the capex should not go very high, and the opex also has to be balanced. If we talk about the guest comfort in the room, it's, as the host mentioned, is the precise pressure, water pressure in the hell faucets and the shower, and the proper mixing of the water also, that too very essential, where it should not be where you are getting a pulsating effect while having a shower simultaneously.
So no hot water scalding you.
Yeah, obviously. So that's the key important, where the mixing of the water, and obviously the guest comfort comes with the aircon.
Right.
The hotel is sometimes mostly happens in the hotel where the aircon is a bit noisy. So proper selection of the equipments and the maintenance. So,
In my opinion, I think comfort is driven by all human senses. So if you can hear something, if you can smell something, if you can feel something, you can see something, that's where the user experience changes. And to me, it's as important as the interiors of the hotel or the landscape and whatnot. So having said that, from a contractor's perspective, what would you think, Mr. Bhansali?
I think it should be a balanced. Probably guest comfort is paramount because he has spent a lot of money to pay for staying in the hotel. So, but it should come at a reasonable cost for the operator also, because operator is also there to make money, and as long as the system is designed efficiently, it is installed efficiently, it is installed properly as per the design, and if the operator or the chief engineer who is using the system operates it properly, I think then it will be right mixture of comfort at a nominal cost, nominal operating cost.
Right, so what I heard you also say is if designers like Sir and I work, then you're happy. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah, I think there are some challenges, sir, for everyone. For a designer, the challenge is a budget. If you over-design, then the client says, "Bahut zyada ho gaya." Try to minimize the design. So I come from that same school, where you have a pressure that the budget has to be within certain X cost. Whereas once it is handed over to the operation team, they always look for the comfort of the occupants. So we always feel that the designer has to design it nicely, and I'm very happy that our recent Moxie project you designed, I think it is a value for money. The owner, Mr. Gaurav, is happy, the PMC is happy. Hopefully once the hotel starts, the guest would also be happy. So I think design plays very important role in actual cost cutting. And simultaneously, if it is executed properly by the contractor, whoever he is, I think the system should run well.
Fantastic. So my follow-up question to that is, sir, I'd like you to wear your Marriott hat right now. And I mean, there's been so much of debate, and I think a lot of us have been talking about 2-pipe, 3-pipe, 4-pipe. I think it's about time that we shed some light on what this is and what it means, because I think a lot of this gets lost in translation. So what are your thoughts on that in terms of comfort? 2-pipe, 3-pipe, VRF, or 2-pipe, 4-pipe, chilled water?
Okay, that's a good one. In fact, Manoj had just briefly talked about it when I was presenting. So basically, a 4-pipe system or a 3-pipe system in VRF or a 4-pipe system in chilled water it does simultaneous heating and cooling, which means that if I have 30 rooms on one floor, one person could be using heating mode, the other person next door would be using cooling mode. And that is not dependent on the extent of winters, on the intensity of winters. It is basically how the guest is used to. Person from India, person from this part of the world, even at this temperature, maybe in the night, we will feel cold.
Especially the people from Mumbai, they've been complaining
Correct.
about the cold.
And people coming from the west, they would be probably wanting air conditioning. This hotel was designed by us, and that time we never had 3-pipe system in a VRF. And when we came in day before yesterday, the room was set at 16 degrees. And I want to tell the GM, please ask your chief engineer here, do not set the room at such low temperatures, either in summers or in winters. You don't need that kind of temperatures. Please keep them at 25, 26 in unoccupied mode. That's number one. Number two, it became very cold. And then I called up the front office. They said that, okay, we're going to have it done from the back end. So I understood that right now it's the cooling mode which is on, and they have to turn it on to the heating mode. And in the night, again, it became very cold because one of the guests must have gone and told them that it's become too hot and we need cooling. Someone like Mr. Sharma, he's sweating when I'm feeling cold here. So that's what 3-pipe and 4-pipe system does.
All right. What are your thoughts, Praveenji? It's the same for you as well at Lemon Tree, or are you happy to use a two-pipe system?
If you talk about India, so I don't think we need the four-pipe system in India. Okay. If you talk about the winter, chilly winters, this time only for the 15 days only. Okay. So why you need the four-pipe system? That is very costly also. So cost point of view is very, very costly. Okay. And to maintain also, because just not a piping only, then you have to add chemicals also. Okay. It's like the insulation, so many things. But yes, the city like in a country like Nepal or Bhutan, yes, we need the four-pipe system.
So there the comfort becomes more important than the capex?
So yes, 100%. The cost is very high because the length of the pipe, to be laid is insulation to be done, the sizing of the cost of overall project definitely will go up.
Correct. So you're saying that it's geography dependent
Geography.
and not just, it can't
Not
be
a-
one solution for it all, right? That's what I'm hearing you say. Harsh, from an IHG perspective, I know you like your two pipes.
No, my thing is, if you are doing heating, do it properly. Otherwise, don't do it. Either or system never works. You can do either cooling or heating. No, you need to give flexibility to the guest if he wants cooling or the heating. You must be reading Daly's Ashrays, right? Human thermal comfort is a very vast topic. I can feel cold at 26 degrees, but somebody can feel hot at 16 degrees. We get complaints from the guests, the rooms are not cooling, and when we check, the room is at 18 degrees. But still, again, this human comfort is a very vast topic. So my only take is, if we are giving heating, it has to be 3-pipe or 4-pipe system.
So you are saying, which is very interesting, it's not just geography dependent, but if you give the heating provision, then it has to be 3-pipe VRF or 4-pipe. That's what you're saying, right? Yep. Ankit?
So here my take is majority is like two-pipe system. There's some of the tropical location where you require, if you talk about the India basically, it's tropical locations where you required a 4-pipe system or heating. Like if you talk about Delhi, for 15 to 20 days you require heating, otherwise normally we can run it on a fan mode or a cooling mode. So ideally for my side, it's majority of a 2-pipe system.
You prefer a 2-pipe?
Prefer 2-pipe.
So you will want the heating provision, but you're good with the 2-pipe if there's a winter.
Yeah.
Even
And
in
regarding
Delhi?
the human discomfort, is let's say, okay, the heating mode is on. So nowadays, in most of the rooms, even though it's a mid-scale or upscale or luxury brand, we are going to have a fan in the room. That can maybe combine on that.
As a system integrator, Manoj, you've done both for us. You've done a 2-pipe VRF in the same city at Holiday Inn Express. You've done Moxie recently, which is 4-pipe. Doing other projects for other, renowned consultants as well. So what's your take? I mean,
Ideally, 4 months of the year, February, March, and November to mid-December are terrible times, for the chief engineer and for my team, especially at the hotels where they have only 2 pipes. As Khemani sir said, the experience of Aloft, when Mr. Bibhuti was the project manager, he helped us to improve that in Dushit Princess. He went for simultaneous cooling heating for at least partially 3 floors, with like 30% of the rooms are having simultaneous cooling heating. Rest are normal 2-pipe system, which makes good sense. It's like a balance of economy and the comfort. So maybe the experience here was not that great, so that upgraded the owner and the project manager to improvise. Well, in the current projects, except for Holiday Inn Express, other hotels we are doing, the good ones we are doing are all 4-pipe. Express also, I had a strong request to the management to have 4-pipe at least in 2-3 floors, because right now there is a challenge there, especially in this kind of season. So I would love to do 4-pipe system, at least for the guest floors. Public areas, not that big issue, but the guest room should have 4-pipe, especially if it is a star hotel located in Kathmandu or Pokhara.
but not in Bhairava or...
Bhairava is more typical like Indian terrain, it's a Tarai area. So as Harsh and the gentleman said, no, it's like 15, 20 days of heating. So the guests are not confused between cooling and heating. It is very bad in Kathmandu, especially these 3-4 months.
Sir?
Just like to clarify one more thing here. So when we talk about chilled water system, it's a 4-pipe system, which means there are two pipes for hot water, 2 pipes for cold water, and they have to be done in both public areas and in guest rooms. Why public areas? Let's say we are having a function here in banquet where we would probably require cooling even in winters. While my lobby will not require cooling, they'll probably require heating. So you don't know which area would require heating and cooling at what time. So effectively, we'll have to do a 4-pipe system all the way. Having said that, in a VRF, a 4-pipe system in chilled water is basically a 3-pipe system in VRF. And you know, what happens is that in winters will last for 2 months, 3 months. The hot water pipe for the rest of the year would remain empty. It'll be moist, and it is prone to rusting. And that's why I recommend for a 100-room, 140-room, 150-room, please go with simultaneous heating, cooling through VRF system, because you have copper pipes there. You know, that's what I wanted to say.
Perfect. So before I come to VRF versus chilled water, which is another, debatable topic, let's take a quick vote. 2-pipe?
2-pipe.
4-pipe?
Kathmandu, Pokhara, 4-pipe for star hotels.
So you're basically the Nota category. You're not here, not there. All right. 2-pipe, 4-pipe? 2-pipe. Sir?
4 or 3 pipes, simultaneous heating and cooling.
So because I'm the moderator, I also get a vote. I'll go with simultaneous 4-pipe. So 4-pipe wins, right? So I think we have some clarity on this session about 3-pipe versus 4-pipe. Yes, it costs more money, but I think since we are talking about economics of hospitality design, I think it's worth spending that money, if you ask me honestly. Right? You have a question? Please, sir.
They have neatly integrated radial heaters, which are safe, right, have no problems, oil radial heaters there. Why isn't that an alternative, particularly for the rooms? Because you can use it when you want to. It is low on maintenance. It can be aesthetically camouflaged. And depending upon then, wherever you are, the public areas, you have to decide. Why is radial oil heaters not looked at as a preference where you want a 2-pipe system generally, but you have a radial heater provision? It works if you go to the Alp hotels and whatever, they all have them. Why are we hesitant to incorporate that, if at all, or if there's a good reason for it?
If I may, sir, I think one of the reasons is also workmanship. Because when you have these standalone or these radiators, along the facade or near the glass, you also see all the strainers and the valves and the piping coming in.
Let me challenge you on that one, okay? And I'm sorry, I'm going to give you some historicity. Mr. PRS Oberoi redid a 6-room high-ceiling fort, 600 meters above sea level, okay? You could not see the grills, the radials, the wires, the switches, nothing. If a project could be done for a home like that, I'm sure it can be done.
Yeah.
If it can be done internationally, we are saying we are better than the best, I'm sure it can be done here too.
Can be done.
So there is a new development that's happened. There are something called e-heaters. Earlier, the electric heaters used to consume all the oxygen in the room, and if you were to sleep with that, you have dry skin, you have problems in breathing in the morning. So all that is now, we are actually still working on it, but there are certain heaters which are available, which we can put along with all the terminal units, including the fan coil and the AHUs, and then we can just have the 2-pipe system and achieve heating through that.
Yeah, we just did this in Taj Dehradun, which is getting handed over next week. So we have a tubular heater in the fan coil. Okay, I think moving on to the next topic, chilled water versus VRF. This is another one because this is something that, we can debate for hours. I think we've been doing that at Ashray and Nishray platforms.
Whole conference will be required.
Yeah, but we just have 21 minutes and 29 seconds left. So we'll go through this quickly. Let's start with Khemani sir only.
Okay, so VRF or chilled water, I would do it tailor-made depending on the size of the project. Up to about 120, 130 rooms, I would prefer a VRF system. Beyond that, chilled water system any day. And that too water-cooled because, as I said, water is going to be free to us from STP. Yeah.
Sir?
I'm the same opinion with Mr. Khemani sir. If the inventory size is like smaller inventory, then you should go for the VRF. If you go for the bigger, like 100 plus rooms, then 100% the chill water central chill water system is recommendable.
Sure. So
And that is easy to operate also. Like my friends say, water cooled is more complicated. I have a different opinion. Water cooled is like the more easy we can operate, easy like any non-technical can easily operate. But in VRF, you need the very skill set. And plus the cost of the AMC, enormous AMC cost. Like sometimes they charge 3,000 per HP, sometimes 4,000 per HP. Huge cost on AMC. So operational cost is very high in VRF, whereas in chilled water, very minimal cost.
So the AMC costs are lower in chilled
Correct,
water, is what
correct.
you're saying. So Mr. Bhansali, should we buy a Mitsubishi from you so that we pay a big hefty AMC then?
No, Mitsubishi doesn't fail. It's a very high quality product, honestly.
So
it
you're
does not
saying
fail.
this on
Yeah,
stage.
for 15 years, my customers are happy. They're not even doing AMCs.
So
They're
you're
happy.
telling us with all these brands, all these hoteliers here, that they should not give you an AMC.
I can take it on my head. Absolutely.
Oh, wow.
Manoj is saying no AMC for VRF if he's installing. So guys, please, throughout the life,
If
no
it's
AMC.
Mitsubishi, yeah, install
Happy
properly.
Valentine's Day.
No. Also, see, you need to have a good driver also. If someone does a physical damage, someone doesn't take care of the proper voltage, someone doesn't do proper preventive maintenance, then of course someone has to do it. So that comes at a cost.
Sir?
Sir, just chilled water versus the VRF. If we talk about the chilled water system, the life of the chilled water system is minimum 15 to 20 years easily. Even you can go up also 25 years. But with VRF, the life is only 7 to 10 years only. After 7 years, you will not be able to get the PCBs, the required spares. So what is the point of putting the VRF? Okay, so there are 2-3 drawbacks also. One is the AMC cost. You need the very skill set, like the technicians or manpower. Plus, after 7 years or 10 years, you need to replace complete air conditioning of the hotel, which is again a big cost.
So, Harsh, how about you? Because I know your mandate is only chilled water. And
It's not a mandate. What I say, either install a chill water or install a split unit. That makes my life easier as compared to VRF. Because as an operator, we have n number of debates with the contractors, or not contract, the AMC vendors. Like there's one common topic which everybody says, there was a power fluctuation and that's the reason it got failed. I have more than 3,000 equipments in my hotel which are electronically driven. Those are not failing, but VRF has failed. So, again, another question to the same vendor is, then why it's not happening with others? You say there was a power fluctuation, PCB failed. So as IG, we don't want to enter in those debates. We want to make life simple for us, for the contractors, because it's a relationship. We have to take service from him. So that's the reason I believe in one-to-one splits or chilled water.
splits. Ankit?
So indeed, a chill water system, despite having the hotel is 50 keys or 100 keys, you might take a chill water system, either a ductable one-to-one system. If the architecture allows to hide the outdoor units, whether it's be on terrace and all that, better to go with ductable system one-to-one. But no VRV.
Would you be, even on your top brands, let's say a Royal Tulip or something, even there, you're happy with this? Or would you prefer a chilled water there?
Throughout all the brands, chill water.
Throughout.
Because OpEx is the one which has to be factored in every segment.
Fantastic. Sir?
One, adding to VRF versus chill water. So based on the data, what we have gathering every month, if you talk about the VRF, the EEI, which is the Energy Efficiency Index, the highest in VRF, it is coming approximately 2.2 plus. With the chill water, it is coming approximately 1.58, 1.60. Whereas with the split, it is coming only 1.1. So if you see the energy consumption point of view, the VRF has a huge cost, but we are pitching as a VRF saves energy. Okay, so I'm in different opinion altogether.
Okay, now I'm confused. I think we got to take another vote then.
It depends upon the aging of the system also.
Yeah, all right. Many factors, power, water quality. Sir spoke about water quality a lot before, right, in the session. And I think it's very important to talk about water because in a chilled water or a hot water system, if your water is dirty, your heat transfer has gone for a toss. And there's hardly anybody talking about that. And I'm glad that Sir, brought out this topic today and presented on it. I think it's time to educate everybody, right, from the designers to the operators to the, decision makers, how important the quality of water is in a chilled water, hot water system, as power quality is important in a VRF system, right? So, okay, let's take a quick vote again. Maybe this time we'll have a tie. I don't know.
No.
Ankit?
Chilled water.
Chilled water?
Small size project VRF, mid size air cooled chill water, big size water cooled chill water.
Again, Nota.
I can understand his position. He has to say that.
I think the next step for Mr. Manoj could be politics. I don't know. Sir? Chilled water.
I'm split.
Split. Okay. Well, so the deciding vote is mine, right? I will also go with Manojji on this. I think it has to be somewhere in between. So I think that's a tie, and I think this is a debate that we'll again not solve, and let the debate go on.
No, debate is solved. All I'm saying is split meaning 140, 150 rooms VRF beyond that chilled water. I mean, I'm very clear in my thinking.
Thank you, sir.
From the designer and the installer side, okay, we can design anything. We can design both the system. You just have to inform whether it's chill water or the VRV.
I really, got a little bit of a pushback when you said that, because when you say to a designer that you got to design two systems for one project, it's a lot of man-hours. So, it'll make our life so much easier if, as designers especially, if the brand, when they're signing up a hotel, I think you can just have a quick checklist saying that this is a VRF job or a chilled water job. Because every project, and many a times you're seeing that, the construction on site gets delayed as a result of not being able to make up our minds what we want. And that debate we couldn't solve it here. It's a difficult solve for the clients too, and the project managers. And everybody has their own opinions, and then they have their own secret, consultants also somewhere, and they get all confused, and everything gets delayed. So why not, as an operator, when you guys sign a project, just tell us what to do.
So we tell us what to do, right?
Yeah, you do often, but okay. So a little bit on emerging technologies to improve comfort for guests, because there are things like indoor environment quality management systems which are there. There's IoT, there's AI/ML which is coming in, and I'm sure that it is gonna, improve comfort for guests, their user experience. Everybody is connected, everybody is online, everybody is, it's 24/7, right? So how do you see technology improving guest comfort going forward, in the hospitality segment? And even if it comes at a cost, would you be willing to spend that money today as a brand?
Want me to start, okay?
Yes, please.
So I'll just go back to the conventional things first before we talk about guest comfort on new technologies. When I enter a room, I want to see minimum number of switches as compared to the number of lights. I mean, if I have my way, probably 4 or 5 switches in a room should do the job. We go for project improvement plans, and there I see about 25 switches in the one room, and you will spend rest of your evening in the room to just figure out which switch turns off which light. So that's number one. Adequate number of charging outlets for guests is another thing that it's become almost a necessity now. So this is 2 things, and then what I can think of is a UPS system in a treadmill. Many times the power goes, a person is on the treadmill, he will tend to fall if the treadmill is running at about 9 kmph or more. He'll just straight away fall. So you need UPS for that transition period between the mains failing and the emergency coming back. Also a UPS for your guest elevators, because what happens is that you're traveling in the elevator and the power goes and DG comes on in, let's say, 12 seconds. It'll start, and the ARD is there, of course. It'll be taking you to the next landing level, but before that, the DG may just kick in. But what happens is that if the power fails again and the DG is gone, then you get a very, very severe jerk. And that's what we need to prevent. And then we talk about, let's say, the indoor air quality and all. So personally, I'm not in too much favor of going down to very, very low AQIs, because a guest should not be exposed to something that good that you go out and suddenly you can't bear that pollution. So up to about 90 micron, I mean, up to about 10 micron, 90% efficiency filters, we are good. Anything less than that, it's like getting into an ICU, because that's what a patient is getting, 5 microns particle size. And we don't want our guests to be getting that kind of clean air.
Yeah. So what about you, sir, in terms of indoor environment? Would you be willing to spend more money on new hotels that you're building now to enhance guest comfort?
Yes. So if talk about the indoor air quality, so we can easily add the MOV filter in the FCUs. Okay, that is like the very small cost, but that you can improve the indoor air quality. In terms of the technology, like we have a Grundfos, like the
pumps.
Grund, like the outside the display. Okay, so they have a beautiful system that is called the chill water reset system. Okay, so that coordinates with the all ancillaries, auxiliary pumps, and with respect to chill water. So when there is a humidity, a very comfort, like the 45, between 45 to 55, then the chill water, the chiller pump, the chill main plant, that will work less, okay? It will sense the atmospheric temperature, and it will control automatically. So we have so many things in the market. Even there's the pump called the EC fans, okay? You can put in your existing AHUs, okay? That you can retrofit also. And we have tested and tried. There's a 15 to 18% saving in terms of the energy consumption. So there are so many things available in the market, because our topic is like how to reduce the cost, okay? So
Still be sustainable.
And sustainable, because everything is reduction is impacting your sustainability directly or indirectly.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Harsh, AI. You see AI coming into building hotels?
Yeah, I would love to have that, but I 100% agree with Mr. Khemani, It has to be done to a certain limit, not too low, because we live, in a country which is, I think, going upwards in terms of pollution. And especially, and it's not only about IA through the fresh air, there are VOCs paints that were being used, the carpets. These all are the different kind of pollutants, and we have to control that. So using selection of material, we have to ensure the paint, the carpet, whatever fabric material we are selecting, it has to be VOC free.
Great. Ankit?
So my take on question one, like the emerging of new technologies, yes, that has to be factored in today, like with the new age of technologies through the IoT or whether it's AI, that has to be factored on, and the equipment has to be, or the system has to be figured out or factored where it is high energy consuming system. There we can think of that. And the second on the indoor air quality. Obviously for the public areas where it has to be like demand control ventilation through the sensors like banquet, restaurants, or such areas where we can have the demand control ventilations as long as like your CO2 level goes high, the pressure is gonna pump in. But yes, that has to be filtered at a high grade. And even for the guest rooms, the TFA, the filter has to be HEPA and kind of.
Sure. So, Manoj, technology, AI?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with what Harsh and Khemani sir said, basically, that not too high-end, because that, again, makes the guest confused. And so basic AI is fine, as long as the guest is having comfort with respect to fresh air intake, he gets a decent exhaust, there's no smell in the room. So these basic fundamentals, hot water is coming properly. I mean, he should get that hot water within like 8-10 seconds, with good temperature. That should be fine. I think the basic things are important, not too high-end, I believe.
Not too high-end. Okay, in terms of indoor environment quality, I think it's catching a lot of momentum. I think there are well certifications that a lot of grade A buildings or offices and multinationals are going for. So in terms of indoor environment, there's temperature and RH, humidity, of course. There is lighting, there is acoustics, and of course, odors and VOCs and things like that. So what do you think is most important, and what gives you maximum complaints as, say, an operator? Harsh?
Maximum?
Yes, complaints.
Usually maximum complaints is, frankly, I'll tell you what are the maximum complaints. I'm not able to operate the TV. That's the maximum complaint we get because, now it has been so much tedious sometimes. There are two remotes, you switch it on, something, and then the receiver is at back, it's not catching the signal, the distance between the bed and the TV is too long. So that's that's the most common complaints we are getting. But and other most common complaints are basically that it's room not cooling.
Not cooling.
Not
right?
cooling.
So,
But again, I just said, human thermal comfort is totally different thing. I can feel cold at 26, you can feel hot at 16. So that's the challenge which we feel. It's there, but sometimes there are genuine problem also. But if I think the system is maintained properly, the filters, the strainers, and everything has been cleaned, those kind of chances of getting those complaints are less. And again, things goes back to you. If you have designed a system which is, fail safe, we are in good hands then.
all right, good. Ankit, maximum complaints, guest complaints. TV we've heard of. I mean, I'm the
So
first
the
guy to-
majority is the undercooling. It's not about that the wrong design of the system, whether the system is whether capable or not. It's that if you actually go and check why it is so what's complaint, you'll find 3-4 people in a room, and then that they are complaining about the AC is not working, where though the AC is designed for maximum 3 people.
Wow, AC is not working. Okay, contractors, I will come to you at the last because you get the complaints, hands-on. Sir, how about you? Both as a consultant and as a MI technical.
Okay, so my take is that, thermostat is one thing that we should try and keep it as simple as possible in terms of guest usage. It should just control temperature and speed only. You look at the fancy thermostats we've got in the room, even I don't know how to operate it. I forget about a layman how they will do it. So that's one thing very important. The other thing, I just come back to the VRF system right now is, You know, we talked about, we didn't talk about the unoccupied mode. So many VRF manufacturers do not have the facility of putting the thermostats in unoccupied mode when the master switch is switched off, and which means that we require a third-party integration, which is very expensive. So we need to be very careful on what brand we choose, because unoccupied mode is something we should not never compromise on.
Absolutely. Praveen sir?
In terms of the gas complaints, so when there were head-end system for the TV, so there was like the very limited channel. After that, then DTH came, okay? So we switched over to the satellite one. So that time also we were just fighting with the two remotes. Then the Airtel came with the universal remote.
Yeah.
So like I think
This is very interesting. I think guests come to watch TV.
So what happened, during the time, what happened, like the 5-6 years, it was like this seamlessly, like it was running single remote, no complaint. Only someone is demanding some different channel, that's a different story altogether. But now the problem started again coming, because now we are just replacing or upgrading TV with a smart TV. Okay, now again two remotes. So then again, so how to go?
Everybody wants their Netflix.
Yeah, Netflix and all. So there is like so many things.
Concluding statement, sir.
So,
Yeah, both ways. How much you complain, you know, or
yeah, as a guest, I visited many hotels, and the typical complaints are what all the gentlemen have said. Yeah, fixing a remote, you know, channel, TV, all that. But from a perspective of a contractor for MEP side, I think the complaints which we get basically is the seasonal mode complaint, especially in Kathmandu, when some people want cooling, some wants heating at the same time, and we have a 2-pipe VRF or a 2-pipe chilled water system. That is, of course, a basic complaint, and we are used to it now. And we have tried to optimize that also. We request the chief engineer to have a separate floor for cooling people and a separate floor for the heating people. That how it can be, you know, I would say diluted. Other than that, as Khemani sir said, when we select the brand for a VRF, we should be very particular in saying that to save operation cost and to increase the efficiency, we should have a product which can run at, when there's no guest, unoccupied mode, it should be in the eco mode. That means if it's summer, 26-degree, low speed. If it's winter, low speed, 18-degree. So that we can save cost. Mitsubishi have that product, and we are very happy with that.
Thank you, team. I think that's our time. I think that's our cue, and I think we can have a few questions maybe if he has.
It's okay, so any other question they raised?
We already have 5 hands, 6 hands up, 7, okay.
All right, sorry. Regarding the air quality, I just remembered a movie which was like a silent movie, Pushpak, where this guy was sleeping in a house which is near the railway track, and somebody takes him to a fantastic villa to sleep. He could not sleep that night because he could not hear the sound. So air quality outside is bad, doesn't mean in the indoor quality should be bad. So anyway, that's one. My only question to all of you, all three consultants actually, is that why do you use HRU, I mean the enthalpy unit, the rooftop, for corridor cooling? Why don't you use that only to fresh air supply and do a separate corridor AHU just for corridor cooling?
The question is?
So we were using HRUs early on, heat recovery wheels or heat recovery units as you call them. But over a period of time, the maintenance of HRUs became quite maintenance intensive, because of which we have gone away from using it. But yes, something which does not have a moving part, just an exchange of heat, surely we should look at it. Like a simple HRU, we should look at that.
Yeah, we are already doing that, sir, for corridors, and we are using a chilled water or a hot water coil also, just to amp the temperature requirements.
Okay. So my question is that, you know, today for air conditioning, you always at a project stage decide between a 2-pipe or a 4-pipe system. And I don't think it is practically possible, especially when you have high occupancies, to have a hot floor or a cold floor. You know, we even do things like somebody who's feeling hot, give him the room where the sun is setting. Don't give him that side, give him the other side, you know, especially if you have an east to west kind of a format. So are there any solutions for something like this without going in for a 4-pipe system? Is there any solution, or that is the only solution by which you get guest comfort? Because today, guests are very unforgiving, and the life of a hotel manager depends upon the feedback which goes on to Google and so many, you know, media points which he can't even control. And he comes and says that my room is too hot. Another guy, he'll say, sorry sir, I can't do anything for you. Especially now that you have locked windows, which is what most brand standards are. You cannot open them. So what is your take on this? Any of the experts sitting can throw some light.
You want to take that?
No. I just want to answer what Mr. Khemani said. There is the unoccupied mode which we are talking about. So unoccupied means, you know, the FCU doesn't goes off. It goes to a lower speed at a higher temperature. So if we are able to provide that and the temperature of the room is maintained, so there is no heat transfer. Basically, everybody thinks, you know, if we operate the FCU, there's an extra cost that I'm going to pay. But once the temperature is achieved, there's no heat transfer happening. To the only cost that is extra is a fan running in your room. Correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Khemani.
My question was actually a little different.
Yeah,
That at the same temperature, some guests are feeling hot, and you are fixed temperature running all
Yeah,
through.
so I come across this every time I go for a review. You know, so most of the owners want to save the cost for a 3-pipe system versus a 2-pipe system in a VRF. And they said that, you know, we can do it on one floor and not do it on other floors. So my question to them is that when you are checking in, you're not going to be asking the guests at that point of time whether you're feeling cold or whether you're feeling hot. I mean, that's being ridiculous. You just check in the guest and you put him to the room. And so you have no escape but to give simultaneous heating and cooling.
I have a question which is a little different, a little unorthodox. Kitchens are usually the second highest energy guzzlers. And a lot of time what happens is, there is always the design aspect which says that your kitchen has to be maintained at 24 degrees. When actually if you look at it, the kitchens are, you know, the high activity zones and the chefs are wearing little, you know, thicker clothes. So why do we need to increase our cost of the energy consumption in the kitchen? Why not having a, you know, higher temperature setting, something like that?
So it's not 24 degrees, let me correct you, it's 26 degrees plus. Okay, that's number one. Number two, the people who are working inside the kitchen also need to be comfortable. You have to maintain that temperature. You can't let them sweat and cook the food simultaneously.
Exactly.
Right? Having said that, some of the dry climates we are looking at using a 2-stage or 3-stage air washer, where we pre-cool, we bring down the dry bulb temperature, and then we pass it through the cooling coil to decrease the humidity levels. So we achieve both, and we reduce the cost, I mean the operating cost, because you are reducing the dry bulb temperature from 114, 115, and when you do air cooling, you are bringing it down to almost the wet bulb temperature, which could be in the range of 75, and you're just then passing on to remove the latent heat over the coil. So we are looking at those options as well.
For compensation to the hoods.
In fact, now I think everybody is going towards demand controlled ventilation also. You know, when there's a demand controlled ventilation in the kitchen, the fan will operate whatever the demand is. So that will also solve much of the problem.
Yeah, I think that will make a lot of sense to use demand control.
Before you ask one question, let me add something.
Please.
So for the kitchen ventilation, okay. So in one of the hotel which has like 200 room plus, so we have installed heat pump, okay. So hot water generator replaced with the heat pump. The heat pump is air to water, okay. So the cool air in heat pump, which is free, okay, that is a byproduct. So what we have done, we have just ducted to the fresh air input,
Yeah.
and the kitchen is like, we are getting 24, 25 degrees Celsius, okay. So whenever I go to that hotel, whenever I visit to hotel, the chef is very happy and always he offer me butter chicken or whatever, like, okay. So that can be also possible, okay.
Okay, this is a comment because I think two you said which are the common complaints. You're all designers, also operators. I would say that as across the board, except a couple of brands, 40% of the hotels suffer from kitchen food smell. 40%, 50% of the hotels have a terrible smell in the loo. Yeah, you work on sensors for lighting and everything else. Right? Why are we not doing something that can solve the problem mechanically? Because it is there everywhere. And if I go walk into a hotel and I can smell food, or if I have a smelly loo, I will think it's a non-classy hotel. That's my interpretation. I think the guest also interprets it that way.
Absolutely.
But I haven't, and of course, musty carpet smell. It's just a norm everywhere, but you have to have carpets. But nobody seems to have found a solution. I presume everybody wants it, but nobody's answered it saying, here's the answer. Don't have human interaction to fix something or whatever. What can you do to make sure that never happens? Because that's really the most important part in a hotel, in my opinion.
So this needs, I think it's a very simple answer. It just needs to be designed correctly.
You're all sitting in the same hotel. You're all designed. Sorry, not make a pointed statement, but the same level of consultants and designers, I'm talking luxury hotels. I'm not going mid-scale, I'm not going economy, I'm going luxury and upper upscale. I'm sure you guys walk those hotels off the hotels that you have not designed, and you would agree with my comment.
I agree, but I'd like to honestly say that the hotels that we've done, these complaints are not there primarily. So I think that it's coming from design, and it's mainly the trap that you put in the toilets. If you put a multi-trap, it won't work. It'll smell. The washrooms will smell.
Your question was the toilets smell inside? Oh, really? Okay. So sure.
The food, yeah.
So there are two aspects to your question. One is the toilet. The toilet will smell if the natural venting is not good and if it is not getting exhausted properly. Forget about the ventilation, mechanical ventilation. I'm not even talking about it. I'm talking about the vent pipe that goes directly from the waste pipe up all the way to the rooftop.
Yeah.
Okay. So if your venting is perfect, nothing can go wrong with the toilet smell. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. So in the public area toilets, one very important thing I've seen is that the ladies' washrooms don't have the same kind of issues as a male washroom. The reason for that is very simple, and people have been doing it for years, that wherever the urinals are, right, they put a small clean out, or a drain point next to the urinals, and this is a common mistake that has been happening for donkey's years, and they connect the waste to that. And you just have to put an SS cap. I mean, this is just my experience that I've had, but
If everything was being designed perfectly, isn't it? But you see it all the time in the best of hotels. So I'm just questioning as, how come you guys missed that? Because it's happening under your nose, both as consultants and operators. Thanks.
So my point would be, like, you were talking on the guest complaints. So like one of the things that has been observed when a room is not occupied for 2 or 3 days, there's a form of smell that generates. Like if it's with the changing seasons, it's in monsoon, there's a smell being observed. How that can be rectified?
So first of all, of course, you've got to have ventilation 24/7. That's what the design is for. The operators must ventilate the toilets and the rooms, even if they are unsold. Secondly, even if you have a situation where you switch off the fan coil and don't go into energy saving mode, right? So if your control valve, if it's a chilled water system, if it's on the return, then the line is always full of chilled water.
Yep.
So that situation of that mustiness, that doesn't occur. But nowadays, all major properties we have, energy saving mode on the fan coil. So they are always running. So this problem, I have not heard recently.
Adding something more to this thing, okay? So in your room, if you're the ventilation, okay, which is the bathroom exhaust, and the fresh air intake, whatever we are giving, if that is functioning properly, I'm sure you will not get the complaint like that, okay? Number two, if the bedroom area is carpeted, then the chance of the smell from the carpet, okay? But nowadays, like, we are replacing it with the hard flooring, like the ceramic flooring or the wooden flooring. So if the ventilation is on,
The
please trust me.
ventilation,
Yeah.
the air changes,
Yeah.
plays a very vital role in that.
Correct.
And another one more question, sir. You were talking on the VRF and the chilled water systems. Can you please throw more light on the sustainability part of that and the carbon footprints what's the difference on the Mother Earth for the gases that we have been using in VRF?
That's a really tough one.
I see this lady on the stage, so I'm not too sure whether we have the time to answer that. Final answer. Okay, final answer. Yes, VRF would consume a bit more of power, but if you have that situation in Nepal, you're not adding extra footprint of carbon. But if your project is in India, you are adding carbon footprint tremendously because 70% of the power in India is produced through coal.
Yeah.
But
So-
in terms of refrigerant use, so refrigerants are also contributing to carbon, right?
Yes.
So in the use of refrigerant in a VRF system per ton, per kg is going to be much higher than chillers.
It's basically a reducing of carbon footprints in terms of CO2 equivalent reductions.
Yeah.
So
So
what you
where the
suggest in
VRV
that
has a
case?
higher on that, and chill water has a lower tons of CO2 equivalent.
So, like, for the certification, which one is more, judgmental on going with a chiller, water cooled or air cooled?
So the certifications are agnostic of technology, but if you were to just count your carbon footprint, hotels using VRF, it would definitely be higher.
And how about the difference in water cooled and the air cooled?
That I think we've already we've discussed.
But just adding one line only, if you are going for this certification, the IGBC or the lead, they recommend to go with the water-cooled chillers, okay? That is the IGBC norms, okay? They are not recommending VRF at all. I'm not saying, I'm not against, sorry, but, yeah. And now the green refrigerant gases are available, which is 410 and all, okay? If it is equipped with that refrigerant gas, then you can qualify the certification also.
We would like to end the question and answer session here. I promised guests you will have plenty of time to interact during the dinner. So thanking everyone for their enthusiastic participation. Ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause for our final panel discussion here at the 13th edition of the HIM conference. I'd like to invite Mr. Ramesh Kohl, who's walking in with a beautiful vase filled with red roses, which also says how engaging it must have been that he's compelled to give these red roses out to our moderator and to all our panelists as well. A big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, for this fantastic panel that discussed on energy and resource efficiency, reduced operational cost, and enhancing guest comfort. We have Mr. Ramesh Kohl, CEO of Naz Hotel Consultants Private Limited, presenting these red roses, and now the token of appreciation to all our panelists and our moderator for fantastically wrapping up this very last session here at the Jaguar Presents HIM Conference and Exposition 2025 in association with Marriott International. I'd also like to take this opportunity to thank all our sponsors, our title sponsor, Jaguar Bath and Light, our patron sponsor, Marriott International, our platinum sponsor, Radisson Hotel Group, Garver High Tech Films, Berger, Fabricasto, Tourism Finance Corporation of India Limited, our gold sponsor, Atmosphere Core, Eclipse International, Hilton, Wyndham Hotels and Resorts, Shuko, Lords Hotel and Resorts, IHG Hotel and Resorts, our associate sponsor, A-Class Marble, Airtech, Alof, Hilton, Sky Decor, Millennium Marbles, Grunfords, Greenlam Laminates, MAW, Guardian SunGuard, and StoneX. Thank you very much to all our associate sponsors, and thank you to our exhibitors, FlowGuard Plus, Blaze Master, Everest, VTech, and Zerone as well. We had quite a lot of participation, so our moderator also needs to decide who are we giving this token to from the audience who participated in asking some fantastic questions. Mr. Mohit, we'd like to request you to kindly come forward and accept this token. Congratulations to Mr. Mohit as well, and may I please request all our panelists and moderators to kindly step forward for a group photograph that also puts the end to our 8th session, which was on energy and resource efficiency. A lot of questions from the audience making this particular session very, very interactive as well.